Hello there and welcome back to GNL Sundays, the show where I, in front of an incredibly messy desk, talk to you about Nerf. I'm Taylor, and this week we're going to be looking at how to optimize your Nerf war loadout. This is a very important part of preparing for a war, so you better listen up and hope I know what I'm talking about. I sure hope so. So to start out, what ammo type do you want to be using? This depends on what you think everyone else will be using, and also what ammo types are valued over others. If the war you're going to is more casual, using only stock blasters mainly, then using short darts would be way too overpowered, and nobody likes to show off. You know who you are. In this case, you're going to want to run mainly elite caliber darts, like regular elites, Aki strikes, or the better off-brand wobbleheads. Or mega, if you want to be fun about it. If your war is a bit more competitive, what we call super stock, you might want to use something a little more optimized. If you're going full lengths, they have to be accurate. Elite darts will not help you. You could also run short darts, but keep in mind some people might still be using stock Nerf, so go easy on them. But if it's a big boy competitive war with mostly the 3D printed stuff, short darts are basically your only option or you're screwed. So now you have your main ammo type. But what if the war you're going to values certain ones over others? This only really applies if someone there is bringing a shield or if you're playing HVZ. Some zombies can only be tagged with a certain ammo type, and shields can usually be tagged with Mega and destroyed with Mega XL or a rocket. So if you know there's a shield user or super zombie at your war, bring something specifically to take them out. So you got your ammo down, but ammo is useless if you can't fire it. So what blaster are you going to use to fling your foam? This depends on how you like to play and sometimes even your physical stature and strength level. If you're trigger happy with your firing, you might want something with a higher capacity so you don't run out in 5 seconds, like a Billinator or Tomahawk 60. But the problem with drum blasters like these is that you basically have to be constantly reloading because you can't swap out your drum unless you have another one, which basically nobody has, except for Coop. Which is why some people prefer magazines. Nerf Elite magazines come in capacities of 6, 10, 12, 18, 25, 30, 35, and the ever-elusive 50. Plus some other capacities made by other companies, notably Buzzbee's 8s and 20s, and Workers' 15s and 22s. It's usually a good idea to carry as many magazines as you can on your body, but if you're of a smaller stature, you might want to either get some cargo pants or stick with the drum blasters unless you're really good at limiting your ammo usage, because if you're out of magazines, you're toast. Now to the next question, Springer or Flywheel? Well, if you're a wimp like me and your arm gets tired a lot, Flywheel is probably the way to go unless you're playing stock, in which it's really not a big deal. If you're a stickler for accuracy, Springers are probably right for you since they're more consistent. To be honest, this is more up to personal preference than anything else, so just try both and see what's right for you. Finding the right blaster really is just trial and error, trying out different ones until you find the one you like. So what are my favorite primaries? Well, for short darts, I'd probably go with my trusty Dart Zone Max Striker, sometimes with a spring spacer if I'm going against the big boys. For full lengths, I'll be using either a Billinator or a Tomahawk 60, depending on if I want it to be my finger or my arm to be tired that day. If I'm running Mega, which I haven't done before but I think would be really fun, I'd be using this heavy SR that I modified. I'd have to print some more magazines, but I can do that. So you have your main blaster, or primary, ready, and a lot of the time you only really need just that. But some people like to have another secondary blaster, either holstered or slung over their shoulder. Whether or not you want to do this is again personal preference. A good reason to use one of these is to have it in your pocket or something when, say, your primary runs out of ammo or has some sort of jam. Another reason to use a secondary is if you need to use an ammo type that your primary doesn't have covered. When I went to a war in LA back in December, I brought a Mega Talon in case there were any shields that I needed to take out. Nobody was actually using a shield at the time there, so it was kind of useless, but you get the point. Speaking of shields, a big question is whether or not you want to run a shield. Pros, you can block darts, which means you don't get tagged as much. Cons, they're cumbersome, someone with Mega can take you out just as easily, and you might get called a wimp. I'm not quite sure on that one, but we're all wimps here in the GNL, so you're good. And I think that's it. I'm honestly not quite sure. The script for this video was kind of rushed. But I hope this helped a little, and if not, whatever, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. Want to run nothing but melee? I have these foam swords that I've seen zero use. Take them. But that's all from me. Leave your thoughts in the comments, and see you next time.